bouncing up the clouds, 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 bouncing up the clouds. Dancing on the clouds, waiting for your heart check. Got to let the beat get under your skin. I think I'm an angel, I'm gonna break my wings. A melody from heaven spins me round and around. Yeah, bouncing off the clouds, whisper in my ear. Yeah, bouncing off the clouds, what you're waiting for. Yeah, bouncing off the clouds, hear that melody. Dancing on the clouds, waiting for your heart.
Hello and welcome to Life Success. I'm your host Laurie, and we're going to talk about life success, and we're going to talk about how suicide plays a huge impact on our lives, right? And we all know it is a deadly trap, right? So how do we overcome it, really? It's so challenging because of the effects that we all have faced in the past. You know, none of us are perfect, and we don't always realize that we are partly to be blamed for our behavior. But I know from my own experience that I've had two siblings pass away. I was only 10 years old when my youngest brother took his life, and that really affected me personally. It affected me because I felt like he was my best friend, and you know, that's a major role in a relationship. It was just a shock, really, to know that he took his life. By the time I knew more about this detail, about how he died and things, I was 16. And I wasn't told when I was a little girl, you know, at 10 years old, I wasn't told the truth. And it wasn't talked about in 1995. So when you experience a tragic suicide like that, you tend to struggle to find something that you can deal with on your own, right? There was no counselling back then for children. There was nothing. There was no support system as such in 1995. Sadly, it wasn't talked about. It was kind of hush-hush, quiet. You know, nobody really talked about it at all. Like, it was hidden. And I guess later on in life, it was exposed. Because too many people in New Zealand are committing suicide, and of course, depression is part of this situation to be played in it. And my brother was struggling with so many things all at once, and he couldn't cope. So he struggled with that, and not feeling like he was wanted, he wasn't loved, he felt unwanted by the family. His own biological father wasn't around, so it made it hard for him to actually really deal with it. So this is the kind of thing that happens quite often in reality around the world, not just New Zealand, but around the world. So, but New Zealand does have, however, a high rate of suicide, and the government is trying to improve that. However, they're not doing very well, are they? So I guess, you know, it is a challenge that we face, because there's so many people in poverty in New Zealand as well, and that doesn't help. But when I was growing up, I struggled with that, and struggled to kind of accept the fact that my brother was gone. And it took a long time for me to find a recovery. But the fact that I did it, I chose to find a way through it. I chose to actually find something that I could face my demons, face my fears, face my hurt, and my pain, and the suffering that I went through as a child. No child should actually be in that position. But unfortunately, that's the choice he made. He felt he was a child that wasn't wanted. The siblings didn't help, I suppose, They treated him like he wasn't a part of the family, like he wasn't wanted. And my father didn't probably help that either. So, my biological father wasn't his. His father did a runner. So he didn't know his biological father until he was old enough in his 20s to meet him. And they were very similar personalities. But, yeah, it was tough. And then the second brother, the oldest one, he was on my father's side of the family. He took his life when I was the age of 28. I didn't think I would have to face that again in my life. He was doing really well. He was trying to improve his life. He was, doing really well. He had a job and friends, and I thought, oh, he's doing okay. He doesn't really so-called need me as much. But I did have like a bit of guilt, and we all go through that phase of guilt, and that's normal with when you lost someone through suicide. And it took me a while to actually really sink in and really learn the tools of the trade, the fact that when we lose someone from suicide, it's not our fault. We do tend to blame ourselves, and we don't realise that. And in reality is that you can't change the fact that they've done it, but you can't change the fact that there's no answer. They will never give you an answer, and there will never be an answer after the fact that they're gone. And sometimes we don't always know that they've done it right there and then. So, there are ways of doing it. And I think realistically we can make a difference. And I'm sure you would know this yourselves. It's never an easy thing to talk about. It's quite challenging sometimes for me even to talk about it, even for a life coach, But I do want to help you guys, and I do want to help you through it. It's something crucial to my soul that I help you guys overcome whatever you're facing and find a way through it. Suicide is not the answer, right? So, even if you did have a family member who is suicidal, support them emotionally. Don't walk away. This is the problem that happened to my brothers. People thought they were doing all right. A few minutes later, they couldn't handle it. Obviously, my oldest brother couldn't handle the fact that my biological father had a stroke, and he nearly died from it. And he couldn't cope. He felt guilty. And he struggled with the fact that his life was a mess. He's been depressed for quite some time, and he lost his biological mother when he was a young boy, And so he struggled to cope with life. Even though he had an ex-wife who still cared for him and respected him, their relationship was okay, and they had a son together who was in the army, and then his own other son from another relationship he had. And these two boys lost their father to suicide. He took a gun to his head and blasted his brain. Now, this is the hardest thing to cope with, is to accept the fact that they've done it. Yes, it is challenging, but I'll tell you what, without forgiveness and without letting go of the guilt, you would be stuck, right? You would be stuck in the pain and suffering for years to come. And the more you keep doing that, the harder it is to let go, right? So you need to find a solution to that. And that solution is the tool of conjunctive behavioral therapy. What this means is you are rechanneling your opinions and thoughts about that situation. And I was actually listening to Deepak Chopra about these experiences of our past and writing them like as if you were the reporter in the newspaper and you're writing a story about your past and asking the questions. And just, it's a great tool to let go of that past and flush it down the toilet if you want, or burn it if you must, and just let go. And that's when I started dancing and singing and feeling that joy come back. And that's when I felt I'm not going to let my past darkness hold me back from my future. So if you are struggling with it right now, I really highly suggest that you do the same, what I did, and you will totally benefit from it. And you know what? End of the day, if you are suicidal, please do get help, because, you know, even if mental health system is corrupted, you need support from someone. Go to a life coach if there's one available in your area. They are not cheap, most coaches, but of course there are coaches out there that will support you. And even if it means you listening to my videos, watching my videos, or even listening to my recordings, seriously, you need support of someone who cares about your well-being. And you know what? Even as a coach, that's my job. That's what I do. I support others through their pain and suffering and support them through whatever they're going through. And I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you find a way through your depressive status right now. Have an awesome day, guys, and I will catch up with you very soon.
Your skin, I think I'm an angel. I'm gonna break my wings. A melody from heaven spins me round and around.